Hey kawan, welcome to EDCReady. Today we are doing a full disassembly and maintenance of this guy. This is the CRKT Burnley-designed assisted squid because it's actually assisted. Here, let me show you. See? There's a spring there. Right there, see? So this is actually my first time ever taking apart an assisted knife. I actually have very little experience with assisted knives. But I did check this beforehand. The screws do spin. So I am going to disassemble it. Okay, now I did recently launch a Patreon account. I would very much like it if you click the Patreon link, and if you like what you see, do subscribe to the Patreon account because I recently got demonetized. Wow, the big D word, the big DM. But the demonetization is not like YouTube's fault or anything. I think it's my fault. I didn't know that you needed to verify your address, so I had to apply for the address verification, which means they actually had to mail a little letter to me with a code, and then that code goes into that code in that letter, a physical letter, is what I need to fill in the YouTube application form, and then hopefully, fingers crossed, after that everything gets remonetized. But for now, in December, which is the most profitable month of the year for ads, I'm not getting any money, but I'm still bringing you guys videos. Okay, let's open this bad boy up. Okay, backspace is out. See now, how does this work? We have bearings. Wow, that is surprising. That's nice. We have bearings there. This is the backspacer, which I believe is plastic. And we have bearings on that side as well. Okay, so this is how it looks like. See this little metal beam here? Yeah, so that is providing the spring tension, which goes into this hole, which goes into that hole, and then that is what actually rotates it around and then kind of spins it out of bounds. Okay, now there is a heck of a lot of grease here, and it is running on bearings. The question is, do I want to wipe it down? Because that grease is there for a reason. It's there to make sure that everything kind of fires properly. Let's see now. I really need to You know what? Yeah, let's just slowly wipe it down. We have a lot of muck. But the great thing about assisted knives, that doesn't matter how gunked up everything is, just like an automatic knife, it will fire. Now these are very thin bearing bushings right there, very thin, so I gotta be sure not to break them as I rotate them. Okay, clean that up, clean up all of that grease in there, and let's see if this improves the action or makes it a little bit worse. Now let's take this guy out. Can I take? There we go. And let's wipe this guy out. Okay, that is clean-ish. Okay, let's just wipe that down. Let's just wipe off the grease here. I can understand the need of having grease inside of there. Okay, but I don't see why you need it around the pivot unless that's what you're really going for. Now, of course, if you just need to re-grease it, you can just use any grease. Supposedly it just looks fine working on grease here. Yeah, it works fine working on grease here. Let's just make sure we remove anything on the inside. Clean up the blade a little bit. Blade has been used just a little bit, although not very good blade. It doesn't have a very nice point because of that spear point. That's actually very rounded at the tip right here. Alright, that's as clean as I would like it to go. Let's just clean up that pivot a little bit. Now it is a D-shaped pivot, which is great, which means that it was not going to rotate as I unscrew it. I'm just gotta remember to put it back in the D. See now, where's the D? It's the D on the other side. It's a D-shaped pivot, but I can't find a D-shaped hole. Is it over here? There it is. So the D shape is on this side. Alright. And then that's it. Let's put this guy in. Now they seem to be symmetrical on both sides. Okay. Let's put this in and hope that nothing happens with the centering of the knife, because the knife was quite centered and it was running quite smoothly, I gotta say. Okay, so that's in there. Now just add a little bit of lube in here, and around here was the detent track. That's the detent track. I'm just gonna lube that up. Make sure that detent is as smooth as possible, although I don't think it will improve the action. Now what I need to do is get this hole onto that little post there, because that is where the spring is. And I'm not sure if you can actually remove the spring. Sometimes you have a screw here that you can remove. I guess, actually no, you can actually just use a little pick or whatever and actually just lift this up, because as I shake it, this little metal plate here actually shakes as well. So that's good. Okay, well, there, you already lifted. So since it's lifted, I can just show you what the spring looks like on the inside. That's about it. Don't really want to mess around with that too much. Just want to put it back, and I will clean that up a little bit later. Now let's find the hole. There we go. Okay, so now I'm feeling some spring tension. It clicked in, basically just went in there, and now I'm feeling some spring tension. So that is where I want to keep it. Okay, let's just wipe out that grease a little bit more. There we go. Sorry. Alright, so far so good. I was over anxious about this because I've never taken apart an assisted knife, but it's working out quite well. Now, because that thing just lifts, you can, in theory, remove that spring to make this a not assisted knife. Although, judging by how soft the detent is, I don't see, there's not a lot of protrusion. I can even feel it here. It doesn't protrude a lot, so it doesn't go into the detent hole very well. So judging by that, I do not think that this will be a very good assisted-less knife, if that makes sense. In some ways, the spring is adding a detent to the knife itself by providing some resistance. Alright. Oh, I forgot something. I forgot this guy. So that guy goes in like that. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is, okay, there's a little bit too much tension because of the lock spring, because of the lock bar. Okay. Now I am going to just try to push this in like so, and just try to position it with this screw before I adjust the back spacer. Alright, if you hear that, that is my laptop going off. This is in the middle of a work day, I have to admit. Okay, now lock bar goes in the other way. Sorry, the back spacer goes in the other way. Goes there. Let's try to line them up. This uses a T6, so let's use a T6. Let's try to line them up. There we go. Alright, I'm seeing something line up. Alright, that has lined up. Here's one of the back ones. This is just mostly to hold it in place. Okay, so that's gone in position-ish. Now, I want to put this other guy in here. Whoa. We got rotation. There we go. So it looks like the screw screws into the back, doesn't screw into the back spacer, it screws into the scale on the other side. Come on. There we go. I'm feeling grippage, and this guy goes in. Alright. There we go. So those two guys are in now. Scales are pretty much in the right space. Now, if I were to be completely honest, disassembling this guy is completely unnecessary because of that assisted action. As long as there's grease in there, which there was, and a lot of it, So I'm seeing a problem. When I screwed it in, the lock bar was kind of all the way out to that side. So now I'm going to see if I can kind of, just with my fingers, push it back. No, I can't. Okay, so I need to add a little bit of sag in the system. Okay, a little bit sag there. Can I push it back now? No. A little bit sag in the back. Okay, a little bit sag in the back here. Alright. There we go. So now it's clicked on over to the other side. Let's try that again. There we go. Now let's tighten the screws back here. There we go. Tighten it back here. There we go. Okay, now this is when I wish I didn't have to switch around my bits. Tighten it here. Right. There we go. That goes in. Centering is good. This is tight. Switch it around to T6. Is this tight? Okay, that's tight now. That is tight enough, and centering is still perfect. Action is great. No blade play. It's obviously gonna flip out no matter what because of that spring assisted action. It does feel a little bit smoother to close. Yeah. Alright, that's it guys. Yeah, again, support my Patreon. I got demonetized recently. Hopefully I'll get remonetized soon. But in the meantime, 2022 I'm going to really focus on kind of really pushing out my Patreon, making sure that people who support my Patreon account have additional benefits to the channel. Alright, thank you so much guys, and as always, stay ready.